things. So disappointment will have, and Eledumare knows our heart. The last few weeks have been very tedious on the weekends because of different activities, different things that we are doing, and I'm so glad that we're able to resume now.
Yes.
We are finishing the 16 Olodus today. I pray the wisdom of Ifa will continue to reside in our minds with what we have learned. Nítorí pé àwọn àràgbọ̀nbọ̀n oníbàbá alákànlódò alágbọ̀n ní mọyì ẹ̀pà adífáfọ́ Ọ̀rúnmìlà bàbá ń ṣàwò rè dálẹ̀ bí mo bá regbè Ifá kó wọlé rè dèmí ọ̀pọ̀lẹ̀ wọlé rè dèmí irin dúdú ní wọlé dògún òjé ní wọlé dòòṣà bí mo bá regbè Ifá kó wọlé rè dèmí bí mo ṣe fi lélẹ̀ kí n padà wá bá wọn Ọ̀bàrà Ìwòrì. It says Ọ̀bàrà Ìwòrì, which is also called Ọ̀bàrà Nìkòsùn. Ọ̀bàrà Ìwòrì. We are going to get to that when we start talking about the mixtures of the Odu, because it's Ọ̀bàrà on one side, Ìwòrì on the other side. Ọ̀bàrà Ìwòrì. Ifama Kominiye Law, this is the Odus of incantation that I sent to you that we can use to remember things. Ọ̀bàrà Ìwòrì. Ifama Kominiye Law, ẹja ńlá ní forí labú, ọ̀nì gidigba ní forí omi ìṣàrìngbọ̀nlọ̀, ọ̀pẹ̀ gbogbo ṣẹ́gi-ṣẹ́gi Ifá gbogbo kó máa bọ̀ nínú mi, ẹnìkan ìkọ́lé tó kú gbàgbé òkè, ẹṣin yìí tó kú gbàgbé èròdì rẹ̀, èyí tí ń bá fi gbàgbé ara máa rán mi létí. If you want to forget something, you are trying to remember something, and you thinking of it, you can't remember, I just say, Ara, remind me. Ara is the deity of memory, is the what we call it, not really a deity, is the one entity in charge of our memory. Ara is in charge of memory. And also there's a plant that the horses eat. It's like a grass called Ara grass. That grass, when we harvest the seedlings and we grind it all up and mix it with honey and we take it. We mark the Odu of Ọ̀bàrà Ìwòrì, and we taking it to remind. Even when you take Iyeroso and mark Ọ̀bàrà on the right, Ìwòrì on the left, Ọ̀bàrà Ìwòrì. We will mark it, recite that incantation, and we'll put it in a jar of water and keep the water in our fridge and be drinking it every so often, so that our memory will always be rekindled, always be renewed. I pray that all the good things we have learned all through these classes, prayer classes, that we continue to remember the good part of it that will benefit our life.
Ashe.
We are talking about Ofumeji today. Ofumeji was also called Orogumeji because you might come across and say Orogumeji. When they say Orogumeji, we are referring to Ofumeji. It is the name that Orogumeji, that this Ifa Ọ̀rúnmìlà was bearing, Ofumeji was bearing in the spirit world. They call him Orogun Denyete in heaven. And he was the first and the most senior of all the Olodus. You see, in Ofumeji is where Ifa relate to us how Ofumeji now come to the end of all the Olodus. We already know how Ogbe became the king of all the Olodus, even though he was the youngest. In Ofumeji, we were able to realize how he was the oldest and he became the last person. So in life doesn't mean a person who is the oldest is going to be the one who is the king, even though we do it like that. In this situation with Ofumeji, things that are first can be last. Even the Bible said, the first shall be the last. So if somebody is in front and they are ahead, for them not to be pompous, for them not to be arrogant, for them to continue to do pleasing things to the world so that life can be pleasing to them at the long last. He was first of all the Olodus, and he ended up becoming the last one because he was a very pompous person. And he's the one that revealed to us, this would reveal to us how Eledumare created the earth for 6 days, and on the 7th day, he rested. So if the people in the Christian world are saying, God created the world and then he rested on the 7th day, so the 7th day, which is Sunday, supposed to be a day of rest. It is through Ifa that they have that knowledge. Eledumare Eledumare sent Ogun to come and create the earth. Ogun could not do it. Ogundameji told us that. He sent Olokun. Olokun could not do it. Because Ogun was feeding his people, all his subordinates, the plants and the wood and in the forest. And nobody can eat wood and plants and survive. So they all got weak and were dying little by little. And Ogun returned, mission impossible. Olokun did the same. All he was feeding his people were water. And nobody's going to drink water alone and survive. So mission impossible. Orunmila was sent, but before he left, he went to Ifa. Ifa told what he needs to do. He did it, and he was able to success. And that is how the earth created. After 6 days of doing all this, Eledumare has created all things. He created plants and animals and things that people can use to survive on earth, and he prepared for them, and it was able to be done. On the 7th day, he was able to rest. That's why even when we walk, one day we can give to ourselves and say, this day is going to be for myself, for Eledumare. For talking about Eledumare, we just did Olojo Festival, which is the day Eledumare has no shrine like other deities. So every time we are praying to Eledumare. We did Olojo Festival in Ife last week, and it was very really successful and very interesting because of how the movement to encourage the tradition to flourish, because it's flourishing around the world. We have to encourage it to flourish even in our own land and not be ashamed or afraid to proclaim the name of the deity in our lives. So Eledumare now rested on the 7th day. This Ofumeji told us how this happened. Ofumeji also taught us how the African gray feather became a symbol of authority for the kings and the Orisha people, even the deities themselves. Because before, the parrot was just a regular bird. But eventually, the parrot went for divination and with Ofumeji, and then he was told to offer, and he offered, and he made the offering at the home of Eshu himself. Eshu now did his magic and turned his tail feather red, and also proclaimed that all deities, any entity, will require that before they can really hit the epitome of their spirituality, of their power. So in the tradition, when people are mounting, when people are celebrating, when we are initiating, you will see the African gray feather in their head. When people are mounting a specific deity, you will see it in their head, so that the power and the authority will be there with them. Ogumeji taught us that. He taught us how Orunmila was able to take all the powers of all the deities and keep it to himself. As a matter of fact, no matter what anybody else will have said, we know it here that there is no other deity like Orunmila. He's the king of all the Orishas, because he's the one that has he told us, Ofumeji told us that Orunmila one day decided he's going to Ogbe, because all the powers were kept with Ogbe. So he went to Ogbe with an incantation, and the Awo that gave him the divine for him and taught him that wisdom. His name is called Okitipuke Awo Ebauno. Okitipuke, diviner of the roadside. He was one that divined for Orunmila when he was going to collect all the powers of all the deities and keep it for himself. And what he did is went to Okitipuke. Okitipuke made divination for him and told him, this is what you need to do. Make this offering and go to Ogun's house. If you make this incantation, Ogun will succumb to your word. And that's what happened. Orunmila went there and he made the incantation. And that incantation, if anybody has this book, I will recommend you write it down and memorize it. That incantation is very, very useful. It is the incantation that we use to exercise the power. Hello, are you there?
We're here.
Hello. Okay.
We can hear you.
It is the incantation that we can use to exercise the authority of an ashe called Mayewu. Mayewu means do not refuse my word. It's a type of medicine. After we make the medicine, we mark it with Ofumeji. In this book, it was recited there that an infant does not refuse the mother's milk. A fowl does not refuse the invitation of a corn. The penis does not refuse the invitation of the pelvis. One cannot ignore the bite of a snake. No one resists the invitation of a cock. No one ignores the bite of a scorpion. The earth cannot refuse the rays of the sun. No one refuse the onslaught of a needle. No one can stop the cat from mousing. No one disobeys the call of nature. All this incantation is what Orunmila used to talk to Ogun, and Ogun became more like a ship that just, because we can, another part of the incantation says, we can only see, if you look at your nose, you can only see we barely see this nose. And when a sheep looks a lamb, they look.
I gotta get my headphones, okay? Excuse me, my dear.
When we look at the nose, we barely see it. And a lamb or a sheep looks like just staring. That's how a lamb looks. That is what Ogun did on that day, and he could not do anything. Ogun gave all the powers of the deity to Orunmila. Orunmila took them home and swallowed them. So when now Ogun, his mind is trance, he came out of the trance, he realized, where will this be? Who has, and then he remembered, Orunmila came to visit me. And he went to Orunmila. And Orunmila says, because he realized Ogun didn't remember. So Orunmila never gave it to him. Little white lie. He says, no, I don't know anything about it, because he could not recollect giving them to Orunmila. That's why Orunmila have all the power to the deity. And now war of Orunmila can initiate, if he knows the procedure, can initiate anybody. He can use the same authority that is already collected from Ogun for Oshun, for Yemoja, for Olokun, for all the deities, Sokmona, all of them, Oluwaye, Shango, Oya. That is why they always require the energies that Orunmila has of theirs to manifest who they are. Without Ifa, please. Without Ifa, the deities don't eat. It's another meaning of that. That it is a person will go to Ifa. Ifa will say, go and give to this specific deity. Even a person who is an elegu, a person who is an initiate of a specific orisa, they will always go to a priest of Ifa to figure out which day should I celebrate my ceremony. What day am I going to, and then Ifa will prescribe, do this, who is going to extend their hand to pick this person, and that is how Orunmila took all the powers of the Orishas. Ofumeji also decided that, okay, he's going to earth, because every entity came from the spirit world and they came to earth. And he came. While in the spirit world, he was told to make offering, and he did make his offering. And but on his way there, on the way to earth, you cannot remember everything that we did in the heavens. That is why when we come to earth and we meet up another priest and we're able to go through divination, we are actually crossing that path of things that we are supposed to do in the spirit world, which we refuse to do, and then we'll be doing them on earth. Now, when he was leaving, he went for divination, and the person who was doing the divination for him was a woman. This woman had no limb, and Orogumeji was afraid. when he saw her, but he beckoned him to come, and then he went and divined for him. He told him to make all these specific sacrifices that he that when he gets to earth, he's going to be a very prosperous person, but he should be a person who has consideration for others. But when he was born into the house of a king. House, so he was pampered. He lived with authority. Getting everything that he wants. After his father died, now he was called to come and be the king. He became the king. But when he became the king, life was not good for anybody because he was very harsh. Life becomes so troublesome that after a while, the people decided, no, we don't want this king anymore. And they all went to him and said, no, we don't want you as a king anymore. And then he ended up abdicating the throne. After that, he abdicated the throne. At that time, he didn't even have a wife. He has nothing. And then he decided he's going back to the spirit world, which he did. He went back to the spirit world. When he got back to the spirit world, thinking he was going there to fix his destiny, to make it better. He went there. And decided he's going to find the diviner who make divination for him before, so that he can fix his destiny. He went looking for her. By the time he's going to find her now, he found, if you do not remember the person, he found her, and the person that he found now was with no limbs and with leprosy. Sick. He was also actually afraid, but the spirit of Orunmila, spirit of Ifa, made him settle down, and the woman divined for her. After he divined for her, the woman also asked him, seeing him that as a priest, the woman said, divine for me too. And then he divined for the woman. In divining for the woman now, he told the woman all the offerings he has to make, and the woman said to Meji that everything you ask now, we are in heaven, it's not here. So Meji said, I will go to the earth to procure all these offerings. And then he decided he would go. On his way, when he got to earth, he came to the house of a friend of his called Akipa. Oh no, he came to a crossroad. The owner, the guardian of that crossroad on earth is called Ashipa. So he told Ashipa what he wanted, and Ashipa said, okay, we'll build a hut here. If we build this hut, this is where you will do all the offerings you need to do. And then Ashipa helped him build a hut. When he built the hut, they built the hut without entrance. No specific. The only way you will know the entrance is by the palm front that was in front of it. That is why up to today, when we do offerings, when we do ceremonies, we always mark the entrance into the shrine with the palm front. So they build it with the palm front and then it has no door. Through an incantation, the woman also taught him that with an incantation, he can enter the hut where they are going to do the offerings and do all the prayers.
Mm-hmm.
They did all that. They did all that. As they were doing the offering with prayers, the woman was able to, when they should receive his offering now, the woman changed into a real self, which was a beautiful person. Before this woman changed, her request to Meji when she asked for divination was that nobody is going to marry her because of her condition. That her wish in life is to have children and to have husband and have children. And Meji said, with the powers of Ifa and H2, that will happen. After they make all the offerings, they make all the offerings, Orogumeji met an old friend. When they were going to make that offer, he met an old friend and asked the friend if he will marry that woman. And the friend definitely, obviously agreed, even though he has heard all the conditions that the woman had with leprosy, with no limbs, blind in one eye. I mean, in today's world, nobody will marry such a person. But Akogu is the name of the Yawo. Did marry her. And then when they make all their offerings, she transposed into her beautiful self. And she has many children. She has many children for Akogu. Up till today, in the tradition of Ogboni, the home that Orogumeji built, the hut that he built, where the offerings were made, is still called Iledi. Iledi is the home where the shrine of Eder. Eder is the staff that the Ogboni people use in prayer. It is used as a covenant, used for covenant. It's used for covenant. So when people are in Ogboni, they will swear a covenant to Edu, not to hurt anyone, not to hurt on earth. So it means Ogboni is a home of a good thing. I don't belong in it. I don't do it because my grandpa has told me not to, because it is a form of imule. Imule means you go into a covenant where we swear secrecy we swear secrecy to support each other. So if somebody do wrong, if you already swear secrecy not to, will you be able to say, oh, no, I'm not in support of what you are doing? No. So we see some of the demerits of swearing secrecy. In this tradition, my belief is stay true to your soul, to your Eledumare, to the deity, and be true to what your conscience, and not belong to any cult that is going to make you bounded, where you cannot say, oh no, I don't agree with that. Once you already sworn to be part of it, you have to agree with it, no matter how good or bad it is. So that's one of the warnings that Ifa taught us. And Orogumeji returned to heaven. It was the source and the beginning of secret fraternity, because Akmina and his wife had many children. The first two oldest, which is Ogbe and Oni, Ifa told us that they were like cat and mouse, always fighting, always doing terrible things to each other. They are like cat and dog, always fighting each other. And then their mother called them one day and made them swear to not hurt each other anymore. That is the beginning of swearing, which is what they use in the Ogboni fraternity. That's why this will tell us the source of the first secret society on earth was from Ofumeji. In his second coming, Ofumeji became a king eventually, because when his father, when he came to the earth again, his father gave birth to him and had a younger brother. He has a younger brother, and they were both always fighting each other. And when their father died, the people decided, these two people that are fighting, we are not going to give them, because they will destroy our community with their fight. So we give title to Orogun's uncle, to their father's brother. Their father's brother did not last on the throne. Eventually, by the time he died, the two brothers have already come together and they were already living harmoniously. So the people decided to give the title to Orogun, and then make his younger brother his own lieutenant, his own Akogu, a person who will be second in command and also direct the community. That is how Orogumeji become a king. Tiodu Orogumeji taught us how Orunmila became a king. He says, the person because of whom we offer a hen, will only eat the gizzard. Is the name of the Awo who divined for Orunmila when Orunmila was going to the town of Ila for divination. In this story, when Orunmila was going to the town of Ila for divination, he was coming into the town. As he was coming, he came into a place, a farmland, and greeted the person who was working on the farm to say, "Oh, Baba, good afternoon. Oh, I'm looking for the town of Ila." And the person said, "Oh, come with me. Let me help you. I'm about to go there. I live in that town. The town of Ila is this way. I will take you in." And as they were going, he first of all branched at his own house and took Orunmila there. He took Orunmila to sit down. That he wants to do something in the back. He will take Orunmila to the king's palace, which is the town of Ila. And Orunmila sat there. In a few minutes, he's already gone to the king's palace to say to the king, great things have happened in my life. As I was working on the farm, there was a slave. The lady Mary sent me a slave. This must be at the time of slavery. He said, lady Mary sent me a slave. And the king, and he said, I know a person cannot own a slave unless king knows about it. And the king said, oh, a slave? Okay, go and bring him. So he went home and brought Orunmila and says, this is the slave. And the king says, go and tie him up there in front of the courtyard. And Orunmila was proclaiming, I'm not a slave. I'm not a slave. Because Orunmila did not make offering that was told to offer. He was saying, when I get to Ila, I will make the offering. He was warned before he left, but he never did. So he now became a slave. Thinking about how he had done wrong, why he did not make his offering to Eshu before leaving for this journey. Now he's now a slave. So they tie him up. After a few days, he keeps saying, I'm not a slave. I'm Orunmila. I am Barakwetu, I'm this and that. They didn't listen. After a few days, they said, okay, you go into the farm and harvest grass for the horses. They put Orunmila to work with the horses in the stable. So we harvest plants and harvest grasses for the horses. So he will go. And then as he was going on the farm, coming, and he was looking at all the plants. He was seeing the plants. He knows the plants. He knows the plants. He sees them. So one day, he went to gather grasses for the horses. He take his bag and harvest some of the plants, and he bring them home. And when he got home now, he started to make his preparation. The Aremo, which is the first son of the king, said to Orunmila, you prepare my horse. Tomorrow, I am dancing through town because of the ceremonies, the king's ceremony that is coming. I am letting the people, whole world know in the town. Orunmila said, Master, I heard. Okay. He started and he make his medicine. He already prepared the medicine and rub it on the seat, on the saddle that they put on the horse. As soon as the next day come and the son of the king was about to mount, he just slumped and fainted. He fainted. There was a big commotion at the palace. What is going on? What is going on? They were asking, oh, go and bring this, go and bring that, go and call this. For 3 days, they were trying. They could not revive him. He's in a coma. For 3 days, they tried. They could not revive him. And Orunmila said to one of the elders, says, whatever is happening to this son of the king, I can help if they allow me. They said, okay, go and help. Orunmila, who made it there, knew the antidote too. He just grabbed the leaf, he harvests this, he harvests that, he harvests this, put it together, and rub the child with it. As soon as he rub it, yeah, it comes to life. And the first word that came to his mouth, he says, Father, calling the king. The son calling the king says, this man is not a slave. This man is the king. He said, you say so? That he is a king. Orunmila said, I have told you that I am not a slave. That is how, and the king said, okay, he's not a king. He said to Orunmila, what do you want? Orunmila said for him to divide everything that he owns in half, including the town, and which is what the king did. Up till today, in the town of Ila, if any one of you come to Nigeria, we will go to the town of Ila and you will find 2 kings in the town of Ila. Up till today, Ila Ogbe, 2 kings resided. There's the only town in Yoruba land where there are 2 kings. Orunmila becomes a king. Ifani, ẹni tá a torí rẹ̀ pẹ́ di yẹ, ewé ní jẹ adífá fọ́rúnmìlà bàbá ń ṣàwòròdé ìlà amúfájọba ọ̀rúnmìlà amúfájọba èrìgì àlọ́. That is where Ọ̀fúnméjì says Ọ̀rúnmìlà is a king, became a king. In Ọ̀fúnméjì,
Oh no.
Is he frozen?
Yes.
okay.
Okay.
Somebody was trying to call him, and I
Okay.
didn't want them, so I'm busy for now. So Ọ̀rúnmìlà became a king. Ọ̀fúnméjì is the Odu that makes the strongest medicine. Ọ̀fúnméjì also taught us that any amount that Awo decided is what he can sell his Ifa for. If it's Ọ̀fúnméjì that we say, if you take $5 from this person for divination, you can take $2 from this person for divination. If you take $100 for this person for offering to pray to Eshu, you can take $20 from this person. So any amount and I will wish it feels in his heart is what he will charge. The strongest medicine is made with Ọ̀fúnméjì. The highest money is got from the tradition with Ọ̀fúnméjì. It says, Ogbonla, it is great wisdom that we need to get great wisdom. If we do not have great wisdom, we cannot know strong medicine. If we did not know strong medicine, we cannot cure serious illness. If we did not cure serious illness, we cannot earn big money. And if we don't earn big money, we cannot do big things, because it is big money that we use to do big things. Ọ̀fúnméjì says so. And who understand Ifa can say, okay, if I charge you $50, I can charge $20 there. I can charge $200 there. Any amount that you call Ifa, you ask Ifa, is what issue. Ifa and the deities will accept. In Ọ̀fúnméjì says anybody with passive foresight, that such person is going to be a person of higher authority in future if they have faith. Although such a person must not be arrogant, they must not be like be a brute. And we look at it. When we look at Ọ̀fún means white, pure. Ọ̀fún means pure. Ọ̀fúnméjì says a person that will cast Ọ̀fúnméjì for must be a diviner. If we go to Igbodu and you cast Ọ̀fúnméjì, it must be a diviner, a priest of it.
Froze again.
I guess somebody calling him again.
I guess.
He says the person will cast Ọ̀fúnméjì for if they are looking for children with patience and perseverance, they will have children. A person that will cast Ọ̀fúnméjì for, if I said they are going to be full with prosperity. It says Ọ̀fún here, Ọ̀fún there. It is the one that divines for, the Mancala game? Mancala? Do you know?
Yes.
Anyone knows the game Mancala?
Penny,
Yes.
Baba.
Penny.
Baba boy.
We call it. Do you know the name is called in Yoruba land?
Iwori.
No. That is Ghana language.
Yes, Ghanaian.
Okay.
That's Ghana.
Oh yes, I worry.
Ghana. In
Okay.
Yoruba, yeah. In Yoruba, it is called Ayo.
Ajo.
Ayo. A-I-Y-O. A-Y-O. Ayo.
Oh, Ayo. Yeah.
Ayo. It says, Ọ̀fúnméjì says, Ọ̀fún here, Ọ̀fún there is the diviner of Ayo. Look at the home of Ayo, filled with prosperity. Look at the home of Ayo, filled with money. Look at the home of Ayo, filled with children. it is the home of Ayo is always filled. When we play the game, we always want to accumulate the seeds in one pot, in one of the pots, and then we calculate how it's going to go around to win some of the seeds from your opponent. You accumulate it in your own pot and start counting it so that it will win on the other side. And it's a very practical game. It's often designed for Ayo, which is game. Sometimes Ifa will tell us to go and put that seed with our Ifa so that our home can continue to be filled with prosperity, to continue to be filled with joy and happiness and all different things. Meji says we will overcome challenges we are in the midst of enemies. Meji was in the midst of enemies and he overcame them. Shogo was able to overcome his enemies in Meji. Meji is a very good Odu. It was because of all his journey back to the spirit world, he ended up coming when all the other Odus have come and have made great things thrive on earth. He was going back, and then by the time he came back to settle, he was at the last. That is why Meji became the last Olodu. He was the first of all the Olodus, but ended up becoming the last because of the way he lived on earth. Very arrogant, very brutal, very not treat anybody cordially that people have to shit him. So when we cast that Odu, we will tell the person to be careful how they are treating others so that they will not be shifted from their. If it comes in Ayewo, if it comes in positive, in Ire, then we will say, oh, prosperity is coming, happiness is coming, but for that person to be patient, for not to be, anxious, to be, to relax and to persevere, that they will meet their success. But if it comes in Ayewo, we tell them to change your ways, or else you will be deposed. So they will send you from your position and put you to the back if you are not treating people right. Meji is a very good Olodu that did many faiths on earth. He helped the children of Ile-Ife to have the barren children of Ile-Ife to have children. He helped the parrot through Eshu to become Eshu have the parrot to become a symbol of authority among kings, among Orisha people, especially those who are mounts of the Orisha. Nobody is initiated without the feather in their head. When you are initiating, a feather like that must be there, and then at the end of the initiation, you give that feather to Eshu. We drop it at the base of it. When after we have used all the deities use it. When we pray to Orisha, we have to put feather there. That feather is very expensive now. We used to buy it how much we buy it before, but now it's so useful, and we use it for medicine. If a woman who is still be menstruating, suddenly his menstruation stops, we will use it to make a medicine for such a person. If a woman is pregnant, we go for divination, and if wants us to do work for the child so that the child will not be deaf and dumb, we will use the feather of the African grey with a whole alligator pepper, grind it into powder, and the woman will be licking it through the pregnancy so that the child will be able to talk when the child is born, to prevent being deaf and dumb. We will use that African grey feather. Most medicine, we use that feather with it in many medicines to energize it, to put specific power into the medicine to do the work it's supposed to do. Meji is a good Odu. Meji is a very good Odu. Because it's the last does not mean it's not good. But it's still the first who became last. And we all now see through Orunmila how he became such a person. Now, Any question? Question.
Abriboye Baba.
Boy, what you say?
So you mentioned the is it Imoda, the feather, the parrot feather? I
The
forget the
parrot
name.
feather, we code it there. We call it Ikodide.
Ikodide.
The bird is called Odidere, but that Ikodide, Iko of Odidere, which is Ikodide. It is the feather. If you look at the bird is all gray.
Yes, a gray parrot.
The tail is all red.
Benny Baba.
We did that.
So the accouché for to make a child talk, is that only one for pregnancy, or is there one that can be made after that, after the child is born?
It's supposed to be made with pregnancy because you cannot feed it to the child. You feed it to the mother. So the mother will be taking it while the baby is inside, so that the child will talk. But if you give birth to a child who's supposed to talk and we realize they don't talk, we have to go to Ifa. Because as you see me, my mother told me I was 5 years old before I could talk.
Right.
And it's because I had the spirit of one of the ancestors. And when one day my parents brought me home to the village and they were doing the annual ceremony of the ancestors. One of the elders says, this child, they should buy all the things that we give to the ancestors to go make offerings to the ancestors because of him. And they did it. And that one day, one morning, they said, when the ancestral master was walking towards our house, the first word that came out of my mouth was for my mom to come and look at the ancestral master that is coming to our house. So, but there are medicines that we do with the head of a parrot, with other things we put together and feed it to a child who doesn't seem to be, talking, and they will talk.
Wow.
Yes. Oh man, there is magic in the medicine. There is magic in medicine. That is what is missing in the diaspora. That's why I always encourage to look closer to here, so that we get the fullness. Yes, the fullness. The plants are here, and they are magical. And we can really manifest the true essence of our heritage by truly understanding it. Our people who are going to Jerusalem and going to Mecca, they don't know where they are going. They will never know what they are going to find. They will never find anything there because nobody's going to show them. If they leave their own heritage and go, no, you must come back to it. And really, today I was not feeling okay. So I get mint and I put one mint from the street and planted it in front of my house as a flower because I look at these pages, I thought, let me put some flower here. Just mint flower. Now it is like a big bush that I'm reluctant to even trim down because it's so useful. I just grind some there, I just swing it up with gin and stick it and add a little bit of honey and I stick it and I feel so good. I feel so good. I was feeling nauseous before this afternoon. It's all gone down. I forgot how I was feeling before because of that plant. So the plants are there and they are used. Once we know it and we can have them, we have them, we eat them, we share it with our children, it becomes part of our heritage. We share it with our community.
Okay.
That is it.
So for me, that one would be interesting for my son. I'm just wondering. What is the
Yeah,
sound?
we can make medicine for him to. Okay, it is my system is going maybe by the way.
Okay, I can still manage to hear. I'm just wondering if he has to come or can it be sent? Can it be sent here? You can? Okay. Okay. Okay.
What I found out for that there was a DHL is a company that I've been using for the last package that I sent. I sent one last week to US. I sent one to Northeast in Canada, and it cost one. Hello.
We can see him.
I'm here. Can you see me?
Oh, yes, we can hear it.
My headphone is gone, so my Bluetooth is gone.
Okay.
So what I did is they charged me $150 for 1 kilo, $150 for 1 kilo, but it will get there in 3 days. Normally, I will send it for about, and it will take about a month or two before people get it, and claiming that they didn't get it. So I'm worried. Now I found this DHL in 3 days. The package is there in your hand, but they charge $150. I mean, we're not worrying about the money as long as we get what we need, and we are using it in hand. And money is supposed to be used on earth to God. We remember how money was sent to earth in the last Odu that we talked about. Money came to earth.
So for this one particularly, should I be doing DAFA first to find out if it's the right one for him, or?
We should. We will need his name, first name, the mother's first name. We do DAFA. This issue with him regarding his voice and like speaking. What do we need to do? Ifa will tell us what to do, and then when we do that offering, we give to issue. Then whatever medicine we make, then Ifa is already, we mark the Odu in it, and is guaranteed to do the work that we want. That's how it's done.
Okay, Baba. I will let you know soon. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Any questions?
Baba Boye Baba.
Aboye, Aboshishe, Agbuato. Asure wori wofun. Ire olokun, ire olosa will always flow to us. Because as the river flows to sea and the sea becomes even mightier, may blessings flow to us. May happiness and joy, may they all flow to us. Ofumeji is another Odu that was casted for the people when Shokmona, which is an epidemic of smallpox, was afflicting the people. Ofumeji was used to cure the people. So if you mark Ofumeji with prayers, we mark the Odu of Meji 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1. That's the marking of Odus of Ifa. We mark it and put it in water and pray to it, and sprinkle our surrounding with it to avert, to push away sicknesses, negativity that's affecting the world, to push it away. It is Arumila advised us to do that as a cleansing and as a shield to protect us from negativity of sickness. We are going to learn with the Odus. When we are going to go into the Odus now, as in combination, we will learn how contagion came to earth. Obaluaye came to earth, and Obaluaye is the contagion. Is the one that is causing what is causing COVID-19. Obaluaye is the one that we are praying to avert it. Ofumeji is the Odu that you can mark and use in prayers, put it in water, and sprinkle it around our surroundings to keep negativity away, to keep sicknesses away, and provide us with a shield of Ifa. Ofumeji is used. You can use Ofumeji. So, any other question?
Yeah, Baba. The incantation from Ofumeji.
Yes.
An infant child does not refuse the mother's milk. The fowl does not refuse the invitation of the corn.
Yes.
And he doesn't refuse the pelvis. One cannot ignore the bite of the snake. And that incantation that took the ashe from all the divinities and give that Arumila took. He said that is the incantation you said you should use with Obi?
You can use it with Obi. You can use it with alligator pepper. You can use that incantation if you want to ask somebody to give you something. If you are requiring something, you need it, you want it to be yours, you are asking for it, then they will not refuse your words. That incantation is used with what we call mayeun. I made some mayeun, but we make it into a ring and a powder. And that powder, you will be licking it, you put it on your tongue, and you say those words so that nobody will refuse your words. And the ring will be in your finger. Sometimes you wear it and it works without even tasting it. Sometimes you don't have the finger, you just taste it. You don't have the ring, you can taste it and just put it in your mouth and make that incantation that whatever you ask must be done for you. The person might say, no, I'm not doing it now, but you go. And later they will call you and say, so I will do that thing that you asked for. They will do it. Because a child never refuses the milk, the breast milk from their mother. A hen cannot refuse the sight of a corn. They must go for it. It is guaranteed. Who can hold that? If a snake bite them and just ignore it and said they have not been touched with something, nobody can. Nobody refuse the bite of a scorpion. No. So it is how Ogun took all the power. Orunmila took all the powers of all the deities Irumoles from Ogun, because Ogun is the one that is the custodian of all of them before. Orunmila took it from him and kept it to himself, and it becomes that of Awo, because as an Awo, the secret of the tradition is in the hands of an Awo. What if you understand? You are the what is it called now? The seed, what is it called? The red seed with the black eye. You remember that plant?
Red seed.
The red seed. Beet. Jumbie. It's not like a jumbie beet.
Jumbie beet, what we call it in Trinidad.
Yeah, jumbie beet. The leaves. You will harvest the leaves and keep it dry. Once it's dry, you grind it into powder and put it in a container and add honey. And then you'll be tasting it once in a while and make that incantation. You can swallow one seed. If you swallow one seed of that jumbie beet and put it in your throat without touching your teeth, just swallow it. There could be a riot on the street. Walk through it. Nobody's going to touch you. You will walk through that riot. They are shooting. They are doing anything. It's a form of protection. We use it to protect against knives, stabbing, cuts, gunshot. Many things is happening in the world, but missing is that in whole you will find that seed. You never see it in half, full always. So you can use it as a medicine, a form of medicine. You take that seed, put it in your mouth. Don't let it touch your teeth. Just swallow it. Or you get the leaves, you dry it up, keep it dry, and then grind it up into powder, and then put it. It's very hard to grind because it's very flexible. You grind it and keep it in a container, add honey to it, and mix it together and lick it. Your mouth has an ashe, and you make that incantation to ask for things. I'm asking for this, let it be done for me. You want to go to the government office to seek something, you can use it to get whatever you want.
The leaves, Baba, that's all missy.
Missing, yeah, it's called missing.
Oh, yes, I have that. Okay.
Missing leaves, yeah. Missing leaves. Yeah, you can grind it up, mix it with honey, be licking it, and say that incantation. Yeah, as much of it as you can remember. And it works. It works. So you are asking for promotion all these years and they are promoting everybody else. You use it to ask. Use it, go to your boss and say, everybody else is being promoted. Why not me? I want to be promoted. This is what I want from you. Do this for me. Without begging. You'll be surprised. It will just happen because those plants have those magical powers. We recognize their powers there. Okay, there's a plant called Ewe ala Parada. Parada means change. You can use it to change things, to turn things around. Ewe ala Parada. Alupayida. It turns things, it changes things. We make it to change things, and it will change. So we know the plants, they have magic, and we recognize them. And some of them, there's a certain way we plant them. Sometimes we plant them with offerings, with sacrifices. Like there are cocoa plants now, the plants of life. When we plant it at the base of Oluwaye shrine, we have to pray to Oluwaye, put the head of the rooster, put the cola, put certain leaves there, and plant, dig the ground, put it there, and then plant the plant on top of it. The plant will grow there and becomes an Orisha itself. So, is the king of all medicine, is the Odu of the, no, Meji and Ogbe Meji are the ones that we use for strong medicine. There's also ones that used to attract different things too. The ones that used to send people, if you want to chase somebody out of where they are home. There's all those secrets, everything is there is with the Odus. But which one are we going to use it for? Use it for betterment of life, to take care of life and not to hurt people. So that, because everything that we do has reward. If you know how to do good, you'll be rewarded. If you know how to do bad, you'll be rewarded. So we also use it to protect ourselves. Think somebody thinks they are God, they can do whatever they want, then we use the plants and we use the Odus of Ifa to say, okay, you carry whatever you do to me, let it happen to you. Let it happen to you, then that's back to sender. Protection. Back to sender. Then they will, whatever they are trying to do to you, they will receive it. Then once they are facing their own, they will leave you alone. They have no time for you, but to face their own problem. So Ifa taught us to use Ifa for good things and use it for protection, not to destroy things that is created. Because Abarata Yeshil Orunmila was sent to come and fix the earth, not to destroy it. And when we have his wisdom for protection, is good, but to use it to hurt others, it is not what Ifa advised us to do. Because whatever we do, we are going to be rewarded with it. So, anyways, our next class will start with Ogbe Oyeku. It's beginning of the combination now. Ogbe and the second Odu, which is Oyeku, now join together. Then Ogbe Wori, then Ogbe Edi, then Ogbe Obara, then Ogbe, and all the way. So Ogbe now starts again with Oyeku for the next class. Ogbe Yeku Baba is the king of all the mixtures of all the Odus. Baba Amulu. Ogbe Yeku lived to be so long on earth that no other entity is as old as Ogbe Yeku. No other entity. Ogbe Yeku is the father of Amulu, is the father of the mixture of the Odus, not the major of Odus. The mixture now, we have Ogbe and Ogbe now becomes the mixture. So,
Baba.
Yes, Mama.
And now that you will be discussing the combination,
Yes.
can you, because you know there's a difference, like if it comes Ogbe Oyeku, but if it comes Eyoku Ogbe, there's a slight difference. So can you just speak on those?
Okay.
As opposed to then going to Oyeku and then go back to Ogbe. Does that make sense?
Okay, to be doing it in pairs?
Yeah.
Because, seniority. We're doing it in seniority. Seniority is what we are following. Ogbe Oyeku. Ogbe Oyeku now and Oyeku Ogbe are siblings of the same father, of the same mother.